a big part of who they are. And I'm stating the obvious. I think they've done it throughout the course of the season. So anytime that's part of the team's identity, it makes it even more difficult.
Do you do anything for particular motivation techniques at all in the postseason?
I think your job as a coach is to consistently and continuously try to motivate your players. Sometimes your players motivate you. I think that's a characteristic of a good team. That they don't necessarily always have to look to a coach to be motivated. Your opponent can motivate you. A matchup can motivate you. The more things that motivate you, the more opportunities you have to compete. Every now and then there's a Gipper speech that presents itself, but I think those things oftentimes are more situational, maybe more organic. A lot of it is feeling your team and trying to give them. Sometimes the best motivation is nothing. When you think of motivation, you usually think of like intensity and emotion and energy. I think that's true too, but I think there's a wide range of ways that happens.
How about like bulletin board material? I mean, obviously everyone's going to be picking this up.
I think sometimes those things present themselves. That's, to me, there's different ways to communicate something. If you don't have bulletin board material, like, can you still be motivated? So I think I'd rather, just personally, I think that your actions are what you can evaluate. Sometimes words are great if they lead to the actions, but usually actions usually speak louder than words, or words you read.
How do you look at the regular season record when it comes to the Celtics? Obviously not beat them, and to rooting for now, you're going to take away from those 3 losses to kind of correct it.
Yeah, I think you look at the things you didn't do well that led to the results. There's a lot of teams that didn't beat them. They're that good. I think it's no mystery that we've got our work cut out for us. They're that good a team, and we're going to have to compete and communicate and execute and do those things on a high level. And we're going to have to do it for a long time. Whether it's through a possession, through a quarter, through a game, through a series. That's what the playoffs are about.
What do they do so well that you really have to be able to count?
Well, anytime a team is unique, that presents problems in and of itself. I think you can go through, they run, they can attack you in transition. Obviously, the three-point shooting is a huge thing, something they do well. They've done particularly well against us. They play through possessions. You'll have to defend multiple actions within a possession. You have to defend screening actions. You have to defend pick and roll. You have to defend isolation. You have to defend the three-point line. So anytime a team has that many ways to score, and you couple that with the weapons that they have, particularly Jalen and Jason, Brown and Tatum. Those guys are 2 of the top players in the league. And I think what makes them really unique is their versatility offensively, different ways they can score. And then you move to the defensive end, and I think they're equally unique. They've got wings, they've got rim protection, they have the ability to switch. They've got Marcus Smart, who's, I've said before, to me is an elite player, possibly the best leader in the NBA. So Joe's done an unbelievable job. Just that tremendous respect for him, the situation that he's been in this year, and the way that their team has performed. There's just a lot of things that you can look at about this team, and they create problems for you all over the place. So that's why I say we got to look out for them.
You've been in the playoffs before as a head coach, obviously, but does it feel any different making this playoff run with a team that you kind of picked up with halfway through the season, and what challenges does that present to you when you are trying to get better?
Well, it's time I thought about it, it may have been the last century that I was coaching in college, but whether it's that or the amount of games that you play in an NBA season, even though it hasn't been a whole season for me, there's enough games to really bond with the group. And that's what I think the most important thing for us is that connectivity. And adversity has a way of doing that, giving you those opportunities. Success has a way of giving you those opportunities. And the playoffs, maybe more than any other time in the season, has a way of bringing you together and sometimes splitting you apart. That's a challenge in and of itself.
Quin, when you guys have the rebounding night you did, especially on the offensive glass, how much of it is tactical, sending guys to glass, to the boards, and how much of it is effort and want to?
Well, it's a little bit of everything always. I know people thought that every ball bounced into our hands, that at least we were there. Transition defense is competing. It doesn't always feel like that as you're sprinting back with no visible reason in front of you until someone's laying the ball in, and then you wish you did it. So it's the more chances and the more situations you can recognize as requiring that level of focus and competition, I think the more successful you can be generally, as far as those things got to motivate you in and of themselves. And as a coach, if I can draw attention to those things, that helps our guys.
Quinn, have you noticed defensively that while on the floor there are guys who are more vocal than others, and would you like the team to be more vocal as a whole?
And that's a great question, and it's a really hard thing. I mean, if I were to go and ask everybody here, who's communicative, who's vocal, everybody's got different comfort levels as far as how much they talk, how loud they talk. Some people talk a lot, some people talk loudly, some people talk quiet, some people lead by example. So I think there's different ways to communicate. Ultimately, communication is huge. It allows everybody to know what you're thinking, to play as a group. So it's something that I know all coaches emphasize, and I know part of leadership is communication, and a big part of it. So when you have that on the floor, that's something someone that's a form of competition. Helping other guys to recognize and to talk. And I think it's something that a team, like a lot of different skills, whether it's running or shooting, it's something a team develops. Certain teams are better at it than others. Sometimes it's more natural than others, but I think it's something that everybody has to really aspire to.
How much of it can you hear when you're on the floor? Like when you're on the sideline, how much is it talking?
I won't be able to hear much of it in the garden, I'll tell you that much. People look like they're lip syncing or whatever. I'm a ventriloquist. But hopefully we're trying to do it. And I think that's even, nonverbal communication. It's a big deal. Pushing, you can't foul your own teammate. I think you communicate too by your actions. So, whether it's something that's audible or not, I think it's something you've got to try to do. There's certain times you can do it too. You do it in a dead ball situation or a timeout. But really, the most valuable form of communication is the kind that occurs actually during competition. I shouldn't say the most valuable, the hardest. It's the hardest time to generate that when you're focused on doing something. For all of us, if you're tremendously focused on something, it's hard to have a conversation at the same time.
We try to go out and show what we've done.
Great athletes are always looking for an edge, aren't they? Something to help build them up before a game, during the game, motivation-wise.
Yeah, some choose what to let it be an itch and let it be motivation. Some people, they handle it different ways.
What is it about you specifically that kind of thrives off of that? Like when people are counting you out and they don't expect you, and you seem to play your best.
I've just been that way my whole life, just because I've been counting out my whole life, so it's nothing new to me. So I don't necessarily look at it for more motivation or anything like that. It's just another day for me. I've been in high school, going into college, I was too small at certain things. Going into the NBA, the same thing. I don't let that affect me. I just be myself and try to get my team to win. That's all I care about.
Outside of that, what about this series that leads you to believe that you guys have a real shot?
We have really good players. We can play at a high level. and this is a series. We beat the #1 seed before. Since I've been here, so I feel like I have confidence in my teammates, confidence in myself that we can go out and do anything. So I definitely believe.
With Saddiq coming here in a trade and Coach Quinn putting Jalen in the start in the rotation, is this the most athletic team that's been around since you've been here?
Definitely, for sure. We have a lot of athletic guys. We're a lot younger for sure than we've been these last couple of years, but we definitely have a lot of young athletic guys. JJ has been playing really well for us, rebounding. Saddiq coming in, doing the same thing, knocking down shots. They've been really good on the glass, helping that, and our athleticism has been showing in that way for sure.
After the play, you mentioned how happy you were for Jalen and Saddiq's experience being in the playoffs. Just what advice have you been able to give them about focusing on what's ahead of them?
Really just to remain themselves. It's crazy because they're kind of like how I was when I was going in my first one and asking the vets and older guys questions and just what to expect and things like that. And Saddiq got on the bus. After the game in Miami, he was so excited and I was so happy for him. It was it's like those moments that you just not everybody gets to see in those things. So it's exciting for me to have certain guys that it's their first time going into a playoff series. And playing in Boston, we know it's going to be loud, so it's going to be a fun series for sure.
How does your first playoff experience feel different from now your third? What have you kind of felt or get used to almost?
Whenever you achieve something, the expectations rise. So, obviously when we did what we did that year, the expectation, rose to the next year, and obviously we didn't meet expectations from ourselves, much less, everybody else around here, what we wanted to do. So, I think the expectations rise whenever you make that first run or that first push in the playoffs, and you just gotta continue to strive to be better than the year before.
There wasn't like Tuesday night to be on the floor and you got rebound after rebound after rebound, and how can you guys replicate that?
We want to try to do that every game, especially going into this series. That was a big emphasis for us that night, attacking the glass and making it tough for them to get out and transition and not letting it just be easy for them. So I know it's emphasis for Q and our team now, and I think they're going to be more alert on not letting us get offensive rebounds, obviously, but obviously we're still going to crash and do
I was just extremely excited, coming into the season. That's what I wanted to do. I want to play in the playoffs, and I'm just blessed to be able to be here in Atlanta and be able to play in the postseason. So I was extremely excited, and just for me, it's just the next game, one game at a time, and just try to win as much as possible.
How does your approach change knowing that this is the postseason versus it being the regular season?
I try to build habits every day of playing hard, competing at a high level, and obviously try to use those habits and try to exceed them and play even harder and things of that nature. So, but for me, it's just focus on playing hard, competing, playing for my teammates. And it's still a game of basketball at the end of the day, so just playing at a high level and trying to be consistent.
Obviously, not many people were picking you to beat Miami, and probably even fewer than they pick you to, or anybody's going to pick you to beat the Celtics. As an athlete, how do you use that as motivation? What do you put down?
Yeah, man, I think just the love of the game, man. You as a competitor, you believe in yourself. I believe in my teammates. So for us, we don't really, worry about what the outside says, any type of distractions or what other people have to say about us. We're professionals too. We work just as hard, and we're trying to just play as hard as we can and just focus on us.
Do you use that kind of stuff as mental motivation at all?
Not really. I think motivation like that is more conditional. I think discipline and being able to play hard, that's more sustainability. So for me, I just try to focus on that.
I assume that's not self-agreeing. What is that?
It's a Joker. It's my favorite villain ever. I've had it for about a couple of years, so he's my favorite character.
How have the guys communicated with you just about how different a playoff series is and a game is compared to a regular season?
Yeah, it's just higher. They told me the higher intensity, the crowds from home and away. Each possession feels like it's the last. That's what you live for. That's what you dream about playing. For high stakes like that. So I think it's just continuing to play at a high level.
You know that the Joker being your favorite villain, you like to feed off of kind of hostile energy. It's going to be super hostile in TD Garden when you go there. Just what are you looking forward to about being in that environment?
It's a great. They have one of the best away crowds in the league, man. So, like I said, I love playing on the road. Being able to feel like it's you versus the world. So I'm just excited to get going.
they got a really deep team, but a lot of headlines are going to be on Jason and Jalen. What kind of challenges do those two guys present?
Great players, when they experience it, been doing it for years. So for us, we have to make sure we play hard and focus on the game plan at hand and try to make it tough for them.
What has kind of been just the focus on Quinn going into this first series? What has he been trying to preach to you guys?
Competing, playing at a high level, focus and communication. He's done a great job of building habits with us, so we're not going to do anything that we aren't used to doing. So for us, it's just competing at a high level, communicating, and trying to play physical, play hard.
You mentioned communication. What are his expectations for you when you're out on the floor as far as communication?
Just talking to each other on both ends of the floor, making sure we're connected. We're going in to the hostile environment on the road. We make sure that we have to come together to get it done.
Have you ever been in an environment where it's hard to communicate because it's like really loud?
Yeah, I have. It's college and high school. I've seen it, a lot of my life, but so it's just good. That's what let them come together even more.
Is there anything that changes? Do you have to nudge people on the shoulder or wave your hands to
I think it's weird. It's like when you're out there, you have everybody kind of knows to look at each other for a little bit. It's like I don't know what the energy is, but once you get their attention, you guys go over to them and get next to their ear so they can hear you. So it's good.
You guys grabbed a season high 63 rebounds. I mean, how do you I know it's a different team with Boston, but how do you translate what you guys did in Miami to a team that doesn't really miss that much?
Right. Just continue to make it tough. Play great defense and, like you said, close the possessions. Defense and offensive ends. We attack the boards hard and play defense hard, and we deliver the results.
Comic book, TV show, or movies?
Well, my favorite Joker is Heath Ledger. Then Joaquin Phoenix, and then the comics is obviously the classics, so it's hard for me to see the best, but Heath Ledger is definitely my favorite.
Did you ever watch the old TV series?
I did, but I did watch the animated. It was good.
Do you have a lot of friends and family trying to get to your first playoff game?
Probably from my family. My friend, my mom, she definitely wants to watch it, but it'd be hard for her to watch it again. She gets real nervous about it. So I would love to have her, but she's just competitive, just like me. So we'll see how many people are going to be there now. They're all very excited, for this too. Yeah.
Thank you.
How hard it is to get to the playoffs, but when you're there, it's a whole different ballgame.
So you're just talking about how rebounding can be who wants it more.
Yeah.
How much does that motivation, doubters, can that translate to wanting it more, to the rebounds, to that physicality?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that, all the analysis they can say whatever they want, but they will never be right because they're not the players. We are the actors here, so we are making it happen. So anybody who's not on the court can say anything, but you would not be right 100%. You can only guess. We are the actors, so when I see people out there saying other stuff, I'm just laughing because they're just guessing. Actually, it doesn't matter how you how articulate you saying it. Doesn't matter the stats you got. It doesn't matter because every game is different. Every game is different. Every playoff game is different. Playoffs 2022 is different than playoffs 2023. So whatever you're thinking, whatever happened before, will not happen again because every game is different.
But can that chip on your shoulder? Can it help you guys?
Definitely. We know that we have to play the play-in to get in. So we know that we're not coming to playoffs as favorites. So, hey, we go out there. We know that we're going to give everything that we have. We know that we have the weapons. We know that we believe in ourselves, and all we have to do is go and get it.
When you talk about the differences between the regular season and the postseason, just how do you approach things a little bit differently?
Yeah, you know that it's going to be all about this team for the next 2 weeks. Every game is going to get harder with adjustments, with awareness about actions, about what happened the game before, and it's always going to be the same team, the same guys. So it only can get harder, and that's why it's so different than the regular season. It's because we're playing the same team over and over again, and that's what this is about. That's why it's also so exciting.
when you have guys that are new to the postseason like Saddiq or Jalen Johnson, what do you tell them about what's to expect and what's coming?
Yeah, I'm so excited for them because I talked to Saddiq and he tells me he used to watch me when he was in high school when I was back with Houston in 2018 and before we played Miami and I told him, man, I want you to see this because it's playoff is really something that players in the NBA careers for 10 years and never get there, and so yeah, I'm really happy that he's going to be part of this with us and this is something that he's definitely he's going to remember.
I know it was a different team and a different year last year, but you guys were bounced early, only getting one win. Do you use that as motivation as well? It's like not wanting to have that feeling again?
Yeah, last year, unfortunately, I was I was hurt for the first couple of games, and it's a different mindset because it's also a different team. It's a different season, so yeah, we definitely want to do better, obviously, but we know that it's going to be one game at a time. So we just have to stay locked in.
Clint, just X's and O's wise, what's the biggest thing that jumps out to you about the Celtics team?
That's a great shooting team, great scorers, experience. They've been on a mission meaning like they've been doing the playoff run since 2016, 17. I feel like so. This is definitely an experienced team. So it's going to be great. I'm excited.
How much can you take away? Like you guys haven't been able to beat them in the regular season, now going into the postseason.
Yeah, it's not the same. I've played many teams before that I've beaten in the regular season, but once you get to the playoffs, it's a whole different ballgame because the whole focus and awareness is about that team only. So it has to be different. We're not on the back-to-back. We're not playing not playing Detroit or New York the game before after. So it's really about this team for the next 2 weeks. So the awareness, the energy, the excitement. We got the city behind us, and we're going to go there, and we're going to come here. It's a whole different ballgame.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Clint.
Let's get it.
Thank you so much.
All right.